This will be fun.
Yeah, this will be fun. All right, well, we're live, technically speaking.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, guys, this is today's Sunday. We just
Happy
thought,
Sunday.
yeah, happy Sunday, man. Obviously, been crazy 2 weeks. Given what's been happening around the world and all that stuff. Just wanted to jump on with our superstar, one of the many superstars within our company, Bram, who's our content producer. We have decided to just jump on to have a bit of a chat because um, this new normal of working from home has actually been our normal for many years within our company. So for those of you who are curious, who don't know, we're actually 100% remote as a company, and we've done that quite intentionally from day one because we really want our staff and the people who work for us or work with us to have lifestyle choice and work life balance and so on and so forth. And it works out to be working all right. Would you agree, Bram?
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Good. So yeah, so we just wanted to jump on to share, just have a bit of a chat, some tips and tricks for those who are new to this working from home new normal, and be able to, just share some tips in order
Mhm.
for us to all work better as people. And
Yeah.
there's no better person to speak to than Bram because he's basically our productivity machine within our company.
That's a
So,
big call, Alex.
oh well, you are a productivity machine. You're probably, the workload that you push out on a day-to-day basis is probably equivalent to three people. So,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Well, talk to me, Bram. What does your day look like, right? So, you spend, how much time do you spend working from home or around cafes and stuff like that? Just yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you said before, for those who don't know, like you said, as a company, we work remotely.
Mm.
We've been doing so since forever, and for me, I like to start my day early in the morning. I think it's really important to find the time throughout the day where you're going to work at your optimum best. And for some people like me, it's working early in the morning. For other people, it's working late at night. And as you know, we've got a couple of guys on our team that are night owls and actually work at that time of the night,
Yeah.
and that's their optimum time that they can really be pushing their best workout. And so for me, it's working early in the morning. I like to get up really early, say 5 to 5:30, go to the gym, go for a good workout, have breakfast, have a really good breakfast, and I'll actually go to the cafe around the corner from home, and I'll do a couple of hours there of work to start my day. While I'm having a coffee there, I'll also open up the laptop, plan out my day, look at the things that I need to do, start to prioritize those things, and actually work from there for a couple of hours. For me, it's like there's a phrase, an hour of power, and I do almost, I think it's like 3 hours of power at the cafe. So that's how I start my day. And following that, I come back into my office and do the rest in here.
Wow. Okay. So would you say you get most of your deep work done or most important task, or the task that requires most of the thinking done in the morning in that cafe after the workout?
Yeah. Surprisingly, for me, you'd think that being in a cafe environment, there's a lot of distractions.
Mm.
You've got people walking in and out. You've got music out there. And for me, working in the cafe that I work at, I know basically all the staff that work there. So on the surface, it may seem that it's quite distracting. But to be honest with you, Alex, I actually get my deepest work done in that block of time in the morning when I get
Wow.
there at 7 to 7:30,
Mm.
and I'll leave at about 9:30 to 10. I
Mm.
get my best work done there.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, I do my tasks that I probably dread the most in that
Mm.
time.
Mm.
I feel like that's where I can really concentrate.
Mm.
That's the time that I need to really block out to do the tasks that really require my
Yeah.
deepest concentration,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, there are things about our jobs that we absolutely love, and there are things about our jobs that we absolutely dread. And
Well, tell me about it, Bram.
Place to do those things
Yeah.
and do those things well. So,
Yeah.
and I need to watch what I'm saying because I'm on Facebook Live with my boss. So,
Oh well, you know, there are things that we love. We love our jobs, but you know, probably you know, there are things that we love doing, and there are things that we hate doing, and it's just
absolutely,
part of the gig, mate.
if we're real, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the same page, man. Like, you know, I'm an early riser.
Yeah.
And I, you know, obviously, you know, on a normal day, you know, when schools were still happening, I do all the school runs and stuff in the morning. Then, you know, probably between by the time I finish all the school runs, it will be probably about 9:30. So between 9:30 and probably up until lunchtime, which is about 12 o'clock, is my most productive time. And I usually would, like, as best as I can manage it, I try and put my phone on do not disturb, try not to look at emails, try not to look at our internal systems, and just block out that time to be 100% on the most
Yeah.
creative tasks. I have my noise cancellation headphones on, and just trying to smash it out like that. And it's just like, you know, the when you're so concentrated and engaged in what we call deep work, like you'd be surprised what you can push out in just an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you, how do you push back in terms of procrastination? So, you know, things like what we like working on and what we don't like working on. How do you push back on that
Yeah.
stuff?
Procrastination's a big killer, and I think it affects all of us. And one of the things that I've managed to set up early on is I think it's really important to find a place or a couple of places, especially when we're in this sort of crisis at the moment where most people are working, not most people, but some people are working from home, and it's a new way of adapting to this modern workplace, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to find a place or a couple of places where you can work and work well.
Yeah.
So here's my office. I've converted our second bedroom into a space, and for me, I can't work in a space that's crowded, cluttered. It needs to be aesthetically pleasing. It almost gets me in the mood, psychologically speaking.
Yeah.
So this is one place that I need to work.
Yeah.
Like I said, the second thing is at the cafe, and I think the reason why I work so well in the cafe is I'm an extrovert by nature. I need to be around people.
Yeah.
Being in this room locked up on my own, it drives me mad sometimes. So it's really important for me to go out there and be able to talk to people while I'm doing my work.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I might actually have someone sitting with me doing their own work, and I'm doing my own work, and it works well. And, you and I have done that on multiple times. We've gone to Warrandyte or, cafes that we normally hotspot and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we're not talking to each other, we're just doing our own work.
Yeah, that's right.
So, number one, definitely having a space to be able to do that. And the second thing, which I think is really key that works for me is, as you know, Alex, you do the same thing, but I have a number of go-to Spotify playlists that I play in the background. Yeah. And it's a very psychological thing. Yeah. But for me personally, I need to have chilled out lounge music that almost relaxes and calms me and puts me in the mood. Actually push out work, as strange as that sounds. And it needs to be instrumental. And look, it's different for everyone. My wife has been working from home the last couple of days, and she needs to play pop music. It's different for everyone. But for me, lounge music. And for you, it's obviously, classical pianos and violins, and it's different for everyone. But point being, you've got to find a playlist that works for you. Yeah, to put you in that mood. I think the point I was trying to add when I was talking about having my own space in an office is those distractions that normally would distract you are out of the way. So for me personally, if I'm working in the lounge room, the dishes might need to be done.
Yeah.
I might notice that the carpets need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
I might notice that the laundry's got a bit of washing, it needs to be put out.
Yeah.
And the TV's there. And so you've got all these distractions. It's really important to just remove those distractions and find a place where you can really focus and focus well.
Well, it's interesting you talk about Spotify playlists. I was just reading a book yesterday, Atomic Habits from James Clear. It's sort of it talks a little bit about like music and habits and putting on the headphones and stuff like that. But I think it's important that you find a playlist that you really like and not change it up. Because what I've found before was, because I'm a bit of a music knob and I like listening to, a lot of other musics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I've found is whenever I'm switching up playlists when I'm trying to do work, I find myself listening to the music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like distracted, like trying to discover the new sound and things like that, so that my mind is not on autopilot per se.
Yeah.
So what it really comes down to for us is probably I've only got like 2 maximum go-to playlists where. It's almost like mechanical. You put it on, it's the same sound, same rhythm. You know it by heart, and then you just immerse yourself into this whole deep work mode.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, I think it's a very similar thing where when people go to the gym and they need to listen to music, it gets them in the mood, it gets them energized. I think it works a very similar way.
Yeah.
Psychologically speaking, it puts you in the mood. And actually, while we're on the topic, I just remembered you wrote a blog about this a number of months ago. So for anyone that's watching, head to csharpgroup.com.au.
There you go. That's the marketer in you, right? Always plugging something.
That's why you pay me the big bucks.
That's it, mate.
Yeah, go to that link, and there's a blog there with a number of Spotify playlists that we tend to use, and it works really well.
Good.
It really does.
Love it. Well, I think one of us, Maddie, is working on an Instagram story actually, just to push that blog. So, but anyway, that's what we're doing. Another thing I wanted to touch on is another trick that I have is when I'm feeling sort of depleted or looking to procrastinate, something's too hard for me to tackle right now. I tend to get on my bike. So I've got an e-bike and I absolutely love it. And I get on my bike and I just ride my bike around the block, or maybe ride my bike to a nearby cafe and whatnot, probably about 10-15 minutes, just enough for me to not really fully break a sweat, but getting some exercise going. And then when after that bike ride session and I sit down, then my brain tends to be refreshed for another half an hour, 45 minutes. So that's another trick that I use.
I've got one. Sorry, just before it sounded like you have another question, but just before you get to that, there's been something that I've been trying, and I haven't been doing it consistently, but I've done it on a number of different weeks over the last couple of months. But a very unorthodox way that I've started to do is to work, and this is going to sound very bad, but working almost 10 hours straight.
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and on Wednesday, as much as possible, try and almost take a day off.
Right.
Not take a day off, but like obviously be on call and do the things that are really important and need to be put out of the way. But I just find that it almost psychologically feels like I've got that extra day off.
Yeah.
It actually makes me feel like I've got more rest.
Absolutely.
Really.
In this book that I'm reading, Atomic Habits, it talks about giving a reward, giving yourself a reward.
Yeah.
So when you're engaging in that habit, you're actually got something to look forward to. So I love the fact that you're building in all these mini hacks to basically hack your brain, right?
Yeah.
So on a Tuesday afternoon, you'll be like, hey, let's push it for another 3 hours, and I'll have a day off tomorrow, right?
Yeah. And mind you, within that 10-hour block, there are food breaks, there are toilet breaks, there are times to go around the corner and get a coffee.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm glued to the table for 10 hours and I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I've just found that to be really effective as well. And like I said, it's not something I've done consistently on a week-to-week basis, but it's something that's really worked for me.
Awesome.
I think at the moment, because we've just been so inundated because of the crisis that we're in at the moment, it's been hard to sort of work that way.
Yeah.
You know, you would know that we're just on call for basically every one of our clients. So it's hard to have that model, but that's something that's worked in the past, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess the morale for this story is just whatever works, guys. You know, like you're just gonna experiment and find a pattern. When it's working, then stick to it, and you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to ask you another question. Obviously, you came from a corporate background before working with us. You know, having office jobs, and you know, you have to dress up and go to an office and things like that. If you had it your way, so obviously now you've been with us for maybe almost 2 years and working from home and things like that. What do you prefer, working in an office, so that some people just prefer working in an office for whatever reason, or this style of working from home, and why?
I see the benefit of both, and I have to say, and you know this well, and I'm saying this more for the viewers out there, but when I first started at C#, I found it quite hard to work from home, and the reason why is, just like we discussed before, the distractions and the lack of productivity. And that's why it's really important early on to fine tune those things and find ways to be able to work through that and work efficiently and productively.
Yeah.
And fast forward now, I would say that I would much prefer working as I do, working from home.
Yeah.
It provides me enormous flexibility. I can get up at 6 a.m. in my PJs, sit in this office and work, and I don't even have to travel, and I don't even have to travel back. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges. So I think for those who especially have to travel to a workplace, it's hypothetically 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back.
Yeah.
That's an hour and a half of time that you could have spent working.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half of time that you could have done something at home. One of the things I like to do is while I'm working, I'll actually have, this goes a little bit against what I was saying before, but hear me out. But while I'm working, I might chuck a load of washing on. Okay. It's being done while I'm working. I don't have to do a thing. And then if I want a little, mini break, I'll load it into a basket, hang it up, and it's done.
Yeah.
On the weekend, I don't have a lot of cleaning to do because it's all been done during the week while I'm here.
Yeah.
I actually find that, working from home has actually allowed me to be productive in other areas of my life too. The only thing that I find difficult working from home is, again, being in this little room without anyone here. But having said that, I mean, we work out of a project management platform. We're constantly in communication. We're constantly on the phone, both with our clients and within our team. So I do still feel like I'm with people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if I really feel like I need to see people physically, I'll go to the cafe. Yeah. Work there for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And so, point being, it provides provides me with a lot of flexibility, and it's definitely what I prefer. And I think what you touched on earlier in this call is it also provides you a lot of work-life balance. So, to being able to start when you feel like you work the best and being able to finish at that time, being able to drop your kids to school and being able to pick them up. So on and so forth, and having that really good work-life balance, and that's something that I found really hard to manage working in sort of a corporate environment. Being able to balance those two things.
So obviously there is a level of trust build within our team, because obviously we're intentional about building the company so that we're 100% remote. So there's a level. So for if you're a business owner or if you're a manager of a company, you really need to determine what kind of agency that you would allow to your employees. Because we have had people who abuse the system and not being productive. No, obviously we don't really measure people's productivity based on the hours that they put in, but the actual output of the work. So, you know, as long as you get it done and get it done well, I don't care if you're staying up, you know, 2 a.m. in the morning and only do 2 hours a week, as long as things are done the right way, right? So I guess it's a fine balance, because I see a lot of sort of newer companies who love to embrace this working from home culture, but without a solid system or a solid communications channel for everybody to feel like we're on the same page. The system can easily be broken, and you know, and people can start abusing the system. And obviously, you need to hire the right people and have the right character in your team and stuff like that as well. So it's not all free flow. There is still a level of discipline and a level of accountability built within. But obviously, you know, the advantage for us as a company is we have a fully transparent system in Podio, so that we can work that way.
One thing that really stood out to me when we had our company retreat last year is obviously all of our guys in our team know when things are due and when things need to, you know, what quality that work needs to be outputted as, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that really stood out to me is I remember you saying to us, I don't care whether it takes you, you know, 80 hours to do it or 5 hours to do your work for the whole week, as long as it's done on time and the output is at the quality that we expect. And I think that really encompasses what productivity should be.
Absolutely.
And that's what I aim for. So personally, you know, I'll run my life on to-do lists, and literally my mission on a daily basis is to make sure that at a certain time that list is clear.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
And I can switch off.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to expand on this point as well. You know, as a company, for those of you who are watching out there who runs a company or manage a team, clarity, like you just need to have absolute clarity around the objective of not only individual projects, but overall as the company, what are you really trying to achieve? So for us, as a company, you know, we're relentless on client results. So being a marketing company, obviously we're not into just building pretty websites and animation shots and things like that. You know, we exist to drive a result for our clients. So as long as we communicate that thoroughly and clearly within our team, and say, hey, whatever that you do, think about whether or not the very thing that you're doing, whether or not you're editing a video or you're writing copy or you're building a website, is this actually contributing to a marketing result for our clients? As long as you feel like you're doing that, then, you know, once again, I don't care if you do spend 2 hours or 80 hours on a certain task, as long as it's done the right way, meaning, you know, this is contributing to a client result. So yeah, so clarity is the name of the game, right? Cool. All right. Well, let's move on. So, couple more questions. So, so for for the people that are watching out there right now, who are new to this whole working from home game, what is the number one tip or the number one hack that you would like to give for our viewers?
Yeah. So, as I said before, and I'll say it again, it's really important to find a place at home that you can work well. Minimize those distractions. Don't work in front of the TV. Please, for heaven's sake, don't work in front of the TV, because I'm telling you right now, you will turn it on and it won't go well.
Right.
And I've tried before. I've even tried to play Spotify off the TV, and because the TV's on, look, I can work with Netflix in the background. Sure, doesn't work. It takes your mind off what you need to do. So definitely finding that place at home where you can minimize those distractions. And it's like, you know, a kid with homework. You can't expect them to do that in front of the TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing. Work is absolutely the same thing. So finding that place is really, really key. I think it's important to take some breaks as well. You can't... our minds are not designed... And you could probably speak into this a little bit more, Alex, but our minds are not designed to just, sit in front of a particular task and do that all day. We need to take constant breaks because, our mind wanders and go, daydreams.
Yeah.
You might want to speak a little bit into that from a story brand point of view, but that's just what I think. I think it's important to take a lot of breaks.
So scientifically speak, well, thanks for bringing that up. I think scientifically speaking, our brain spends about 30% of its time daydreaming. So regardless of how smart we are as human beings, our brain still spends a fair amount of time daydreaming. Why? Because it's a survival mechanism. I think I was reading on some other books. I think the maximum amount of deep work or like super focused work that a person can engage in is about 45 minutes per session.
Yeah.
So, so I think in an ideal scenario, obviously sometimes it's not realistic given the amount of work that but I think it's quite important for us to be intentional about scheduling in our work in 45 or 30-minute chunks. And once again, once you're in that mode, you'll be surprised at how much work you're actually pushing out in that time slot. I still remember earlier in our company, and I was just trying to train myself to be productive within a limited amount of time. I used to drive to the city and park my car at a 1 hour spot and pay $6 an hour, go to a local cafe or go to one of our remote offices to work for 45 minutes, knowing that if I don't go back to my car and drive off, I'm going to get booked. And that was like, that worked wonders for me for a season. So, so it's just creating all these boundaries for yourself. You'll be surprised how effective it's going to be. Hey, last question. Now, given obviously the world's in an interesting space at the moment, what's going on is absolutely terrible business-wise, and just people's general health and stuff like that. But I still want to obviously leave this call with a positive note. So, if I was to ask you this question, Bram, what are you positive about this current season, or what in general? What are you, if you're still excited? What are you excited about 2020?
So we're talking from the perspective of having the COVID-19 situation.
So what's going on currently around the world of COVID-19? Everybody's staying home, and businesses obviously closing down and things like that. It's very negative right now with the news and everything. But what are you mostly positive about out of this whole situation?
One of the things I've noticed, and you've got to look at. Look, by the way, it's really sad what's happening in the world. That there are people out there that have either lost their businesses, or they're running on very, very thin wire because they're restricted in such a tough way, and for good reason. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm really excited about is the opportunity online, because what you've got to look at is all the businesses out there that are being restricted, and to no fault of their own, that obviously that's how their business is wired. But I guess the service-based businesses where it's face-to-face, it has to be face-to-face, they're the ones that are really suffering at the moment, because we're obviously wanting to minimise the contact between people. For example, hairdressers and beauticians and spraying, tanning salons, things like that, they're suffering and had to close their doors because they simply cannot do their job unless they're face-to-face with someone, actually touching someone to do their job. And I'm personally really excited about the opportunity online. And so, look, we're seeing a lot of, even though shopping centres haven't been closed down and retailers are still running, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of retailers in shopping centres that are actually closing down because it's just difficult to run a bricks and mortar store in this environment. They've got overheads to pay, they've got staff to pay, they've got rent to pay, all the logistical sides of things as well. All of that comes into play, and they're shutting their doors down even before the next lot of restrictions come out. But those retailers at the same time that are still really surviving through this have a very big online presence and an online store that they can still trade from, and sell really well. And I look at one of our clients, on the weekend, and I've been looking at their sales even through this weekend. But they're doing exceptionally well from people coming into the store and buying takeaway coffee or buying some retail things from them. May not be necessarily that big, but from an online point of view, they're absolutely smashing it in sales. You know, like
100%.
what have they made? Almost a couple of $1,000s over the last, 2-3 days.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
because people can't leave their houses. They still need the essentials, and they're going to order it online.
Yeah, look,
so online is definitely a space that we really need to watch. Across this time, and again, as I said before, not everybody can do the online thing. There are service-based businesses out there. Like, I can't get a haircut over Zoom. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I think the opportunity online is really something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I said before, the opportunity online is enormous. And obviously we're witnessing a lot of companies pivoting during this time and being innovative during this time. My hope and just to leave this call with a positive note is by Christmas we'll all be more digitally savvy. We'll be more resilient as people. Especially for business owners and businesses who are doing it tough right now. I'm finding myself making a lot of phone calls now, like sales calls, just calling up people, asking how you're doing, how we can jump in and help. Whereas before, one of the biggest things that I would procrastinate is sales calls, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm finding myself, hey, back against the wall, you got to do it. Stop being soft, get on the phone and talk to people, right? So I think as a community of people, we're definitely being more resilient during this time. When we come out of this crisis, we're just gonna be better people, and obviously another thing also is obviously now we're forced to stay at home, so we're spending more time with our loved ones, with engaging in deeper conversations, and during tough times everybody sort of tend to stick together a little bit more and try to love each other more and stuff like that. So it's just interesting how the human race is being recalibrated at the moment. That's my yeah. Hey man, I think I should let you go.
No worries.
This program is sort of like jumping in and out. Anyways, thanks for your time.
No, thank you.
Well, tomorrow's Monday, so I'll see you tomorrow. But we'll try to keep doing this stuff so that we can keep speaking to our audiences and all that. Now that we've got a little bit more time in our hands, let's do more of these and add value to the people that we are connected to. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you have a good rest of the Sunday, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you later.
Thanks, man.
Bye.